What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another episode. Let's get into it right now. I'm sorry about that, guys. I came in a little bit thirsty, so I had to get it in really fast. So, we're back at it with another episode. And yes, you read the title right. We are talking about Kingsman. This should be an interesting episode, to be honest with you guys. I haven't done something like this in a while. Just about one franchise. And I know some people hate the franchise, some people love the franchise. So I'm in the middle. Because the first two movies I liked, the last one, I didn't even ever finish watching it as much as I didn't like it, to be honest with you guys. So it's one of those things. So, but we're no spoilers. We're going to talk about it in a minute. So before we do that, let's drop the link. If you want to come up, say hi to me, or argue with me, whatever you want to do. The link is in the chat. I'm going to pin it on the top of the channel. So whatever you guys want to do is up there. So it should be somewhere. Let me see where I have it. Oh, here. It's right here. So there's it. There's your link. So jump on and I'll see you guys in a minute. So Kingsman. Okay. I want to clarify one thing about Kingsman before we do anything. Kingsman is a franchise. I do not want to get confused with Kingsman, the beer oil. Two different things, two different products. Let's get that out of the way. Why is my camera so crooked? All right, that's a little better. That's one. Two, we're not going to confuse this with other franchise. Or we're going to bring that in later. But Kingsman, it is a spy franchise. So we need to keep that in mind. So we're going to have to keep that. This is not a real franchise. It's a made up franchise. Made up like James Bond and so on. It's not going to be on the same level with James Bond because it's so young versus James Bond, who's had over 90 something movies out there. So, what is a couple of things I want to talk about this franchise? Let's go over the first movie first. The first one, I didn't know what I walked myself into when I watched it the first time. I knew it was a good movie, but I didn't know what it was. So I knew it was going to be a different experience. But when I got into it, like, oh, this is actually not bad. Actually, it was actually pretty good. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me. Yep. Give me 1 second. Got to text somebody. Multitasking is not my strong point. I'll be honest with you guys. So keep that in mind. So anyway, with come to the franchise, like, I didn't know what I walked into. So when I got into it, I'm like, oh, this is not a bad, different but not bad. It took me a while to get used to it at first, the beginning part of it, because he was a ghetto kid out of London, I want to say. And I get it. Different take, different everything. We divide into a different style when we come and look into this. Again, this is not James Bond or was it a movie called High Ocean or whatever, or a Born series. This is a different world. Still fiction. Don't get me wrong. Great series. The spy genre is growing. Let's be honest here. So let's look that up for a second. Let's look up spy genre. How many different series or franchise are there? Because there are a lot more than you think there are actually now. Let me raise my mic a little bit, just in case nobody can hear me Clary, is it John? Sorry. So the more basic ones, we know James Bond, obviously. Um, actually, let me type in franchise. That'd be probably better. Uh, nope, that's not it. Uh, why is that coming up? Franchise. I hate when I cannot find something when I type in. That is the most annoying thing ever. Let's try this instead. Give me a second, guys, because my computer's not agreeing with me right now. Let's try this one. All right, a couple of franchises. I finally got it. Okay, so is we know about James Bond. We were Mission Impossible, another one. Bond series, Lupin, Carol Himlin. I'm not familiar with that one, to be honest. Let's see what else we have here, because I know there are more than that. Because I know there are, I might be wrong actually. It might be only a couple of franchises. Got 24 is a franchise. I need to get into that, to be honest with you guys. I'll give you an idea. So it is a bunch out there. It's not only one or two. There are several franchises. So I will actually add to the list now is Kingsman, and it is on my list. Angels and Shields, another one actually. Don't forget about that. So we do have a good amount of franchises about it. Yeah, and the franchises have evolved over time. Let's say not all of them, but some of them. And you need to keep that in mind, because you can't talk about any of this franchise without talking about evolve or change. James Bond, for example, if you watch the very first movie that came out to the very last one, is not the same James Bond that was back then. It had changed dramatically, and it will continue changing. My, I don't say favorite spy movie, but one of the top ones was Mission Impossible. Kingsman is up there. Kingsman is more an action comedy, to be honest with you guys, in my personal opinion. It's not like Mission Impossible is an old serious action and get it in, get out, punch, 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 out, out, out kind of thing. Now, when it comes to the genres, you have to understand they're trying to blend different genres into in one in Kingsman, and they did a pretty good fucking job, to be honest with you. I think that's why they picked UK, because we all know about MI6. MI6 is where all this starts. So they didn't use MI6 as the foundation, but they used UK. That's why we're that that what I'm looking for. The idea started from there. Great, 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 great. Because we all know that's where the spy movies start from. Not gonna push back on that at one bit, but I am gonna push back a little if you're against this, because if you think is not a good movie because you're so used to the suit and tie kind of style, you need to start thinking the other way. You need to start thinking it's not the same. You're thinking James Bond, different genre again. You need to start thinking different. So, my hair's a mess already. So, that is where you are. So when it came down to the Kingsman, ghetto kid from the streets. Okay, that sounds basic story like most of them. Let's be honest here. But when he started making him into blend him into a gentleman, sharp suit, combat, arsenal, you get the Kingsman. Simple. A new culture almost in a way, a new style, a new everything, and that's what it is. And that's where you need to get your head on different because it's a different one, a different style, a different take on spies. So, seriously, what is your favorite spy movie? Which one did you think is the best one that ever came out? Everybody has their own opinion. Uh, let's see where we're at here. Let's try and thought. I'm trying to multitask, guys. I'm sorry. Multitasking is not my strong point. So that's the first one. The second one, he's already established himself. What I didn't like about the second one, they actually had a little twist to it. They brought different spy guys. Okay, Paul, hang on a second. Oh, where are you? Link. All right. All right. I'm gonna address that when Paul gets on. So what I like about it was like you have UK now. You bring in, American spies in this, but they're not. It's not like an MI6 or CIA or anything like that. It was like their own foundation. That's one thing about Kingsman. They have their own foundation, and they have some great fucking actors. To be honest with you, they had even a freaking what's his name? Jeff Brunger, great actor. What's his name? Channing Tatum. Pedro Pascal. Those are some great actors. All right, guys, let's get his ass in here because I think you guys are tired. Let's get his theme song in. Mr. President.
Give me 1 second. Hang on.
Yeah, take your time. I have to I have to replay your theme song. That means okay. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, Mr. President.
What's good?
What's going on, brother? How are you, man?
Exhausted, but I again, this is training day, so the struggle sometimes with the show is a lot of times I am the fatigue starts to set in. So it's like you do your workout, and I worked out a lot later today. I worked out about 2:00. I had early morning. I had to do some things. So by the time I got settled in, it was after 2:00. Then I trained my wife also. So and so that fatigue is starting to set in now. And a lot of times I try to get a nap in ahead of time, but I didn't get a chance to get it. So I'm a little on the fatigue side, and I still got to stay up. I got to prepare for tomorrow anyway. So. So I may try to catch a power nap, hopefully before like 1 a.m. And then I got to get up and do some more stuff tonight for preparation for tomorrow. So story never ends here, but it is what it is.
Dude, trust me. Tomorrow I volunteered with the church. We're doing my church does twice a year a Greek festival event.
Yeah, cool.
So my boy George is like asking me a while back, can you do it? Can you do it? I did want to commit because I wasn't feeling good. Since it's starting yesterday. I started feeling better.
You
I'm not.
sound better.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I'm not coughing my lung out yet. I'm still have the little cough a little bit, but it's not like I'm like going like every 2 seconds. Like I couldn't even do the show the other night.
Yeah.
If it was for Ray, I was like he actually guided the show mostly because
Yeah, Ray took over.
was that
Ray took over. He commandeered the show.
I needed to him because I go listen. Yeah, give me credit. The show went on still.
It did. I know it did. But he comes in and he he'll go all over the world and back. But yeah, definitely. Glad he was able to come in and help you out.
Yeah, I actually
Because
have a
again,
couple topics.
especially when you talk about like single man stuff, whatever, it's like, I can give my opinion on stuff, especially the fact I also have daughters and whatnot. But the single life, I'm so detached from it that sometimes it's hard to give a perspective that that a lot of younger folks are still single can relate
Wait,
to.
you're on here season 49, wasn't it? Right?
This is season 28. God
28.
willing, I'll get to 49. So
Hey, it's still impressive. Very, excuse me, very impressive too.
appreciate it.
Before we get into the show, I don't know if anybody checked or saw, I updated the channel with a little bunch of about 2.5 months of episodes.
Yeah, I saw. I know you sent me the. I know you sent me the show list. I don't want to play spoiler here. We can certainly talk about it offline. But I know there was one concept I thought we were going to try to squeeze in there, and try to satisfy in the gray area show. So, but we'll have that conversation offline. But it's good that you're sort of planning ahead. Yeah. But also, I hope you kept in mind my vacation time. So. I do have it off. So a couple weeks I may not be on December 15th and December 22nd. I'll be out of the country essentially. So
your PTO has not been approved yet.
So
let me get back with you with HR.
This is right to hire. This is a right to hire situation now. So you have the right to fire. I have the right to leave. So
can you do the show remotely? Will your wife be pissed at me?
I don't know. I might.
I think she will.
Because I think there's Wi-Fi. Again, we're going to be in a boat, so I know there's Wi-Fi available. What's that?
Were you guys going again?
Caribbean. Like I said, Greece. We're actually going to do. We're going to do in the spring because right now I think it's too cold. One thing you didn't tell me about is that Greece is a temperate environment, so you have your chilly times of the year and then you have your warmer times of the year. So
okay, so the weather in Greece is not as chilly as here. You still can enjoy yourself, but
I checked the temp. It's 50 degrees in December.
Yeah, so if you really want to visit Greece and enjoy the beach, yeah, this is not a good time to go.
Yeah. So that's why we decided to push it back to like late April, mid-May, before the summer. So we're planning another cruise. And we already know the ship that we're essentially going to be on, and so we're just
hopefully not the Titanic.
Now, hopefully not. Actually, this is a brand new ship. It just literally came out last year. It looks like some Federation, starship or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Hey, I could tell you. Hey, good evening. Hey. Hopefully, our fate will be better tomorrow in Vegas. But again, they're starting a different quarterback, which probably means that it'll probably be a 3-point score, as always. So hopefully it won't be so bad. But yeah, it's 50. I already checked ahead of time because for some reason I started thinking about it. It's like, wait a minute, because obviously you see the Greek cruise, you see the vacation spots. There's a lot of beaches and there's a lot of stuff like that. I was like, oh, cool, but what's the temperature? And then I saw it was like in the 50s. I was like, we don't do cold here. so again, we're gonna save that for next year, and God willing, hopefully we're at a status in life now we can take a couple of trips a year. That's ultimately the goal, where we can do some traveling, more consistently now with the kids getting out, and us getting to a point where we can start enjoying each other again. So it doesn't always have to be like a long vacation thing or whatever, but definitely weekend getaways and things of that nature are things that we're definitely looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a benefit for your kids getting older. Now you can actually start traveling more. I know you guys been doing like mini vacations here and there, right?
Just like 3-day weekends, overnight stays, and whatnot. I mean, when you get to our point anyway, it's not like you learn to appreciate those little things. Like I know last couple years we'll go down to Atlantic City just to hang out. I mean, we don't gamble hardly. We may spend $5 on a machine. That's it, but it's just the getting out of your house, you know what I mean? Out of your environment, being able to, streak if you want to in your room. I mean, it's just the freedom just to be not responsible for anybody. Someone's got the dogs, hey, kids. Well, I shouldn't call them kids anymore, but hey, you guys figure out dinner and whatnot. We're not available unless absolutely necessary. And it's just cool to just be naked, however you want to define that. It's just cool to do that. And so, because even at home, it's like, someone calls, someone rings the doorbell, someone does this, that. I mean, you just can't, sometimes even in your own house, sometimes you don't feel that sense of freedom, or like you're truly, escaping something. So, you don't have to necessarily go halfway around the world to do that. And so again, those couple days out here and there, then, you can, you know, yeah, it sounds pretty good so far.
Okay,
So,
I was making sure the sound effects you can hear in the background.
oh, the sound effects, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any
Oh,
sound
okay,
effects.
got it.
So,
Okay,
um, but yeah, so that's kind of where like I said, we're looking to, to get to, and just be a bit more free, and hopefully more dynamic. Like, if we can get to a point where we can say, hey, you know what, just on the fly, let's just get away for a couple days. That would be cool. I mean, once we get once we get once we get that, that'll be that'll be a cool, spot to get to. But other than that, things are good. Like I said, I'm a little, like I said, exhausted. I'm also kind of following. I know the Mr. Olympia weekend is currently going on right now, so I've been, I didn't buy the live stream. From what I understand, the live stream was terrible. I'm glad I didn't. They wanted $75 for the live, but the video's been terrible from what I understand. Like darkened
seriously,
pictures.
$75 for a live fucking stream?
$75 for a stream, yeah. So
Get the
I
fuck
was
out of
like,
here.
so I
Are they
was, but
fucking
I like I said, I'm
Economics
a fan.
now?
I've done it in the past. I like I said, I enjoy Mr.
I
Olympia.
never
Like,
paid for Olympia.
I've always enjoyed it. I know last year did I pay? I think, yeah, I paid last year, and it might have been $60 or $50 or whatever. I know they're in this new hotel in Vegas and all that, and obviously they give you coverage, like all of the prejudging shows from Friday morning all the way up through. In fact, the main card is tonight. So
Oh, the judge in the final round, the finals.
right, finals. So I know it's the men's finals, it's the women's, I think, bikini tonight. It's the I think it's the figure, the classic physique, and a couple. There's like 4 or 5 different categories that are going on tonight.
Really fast. I'm working in the background to fix the sound effect problem. If you
Sure,
hear something, just let me know, please.
sure thing, will do. So, so yeah, so I'm a big. I've always been a fan of the sport. Ever since I saw Pumping Iron back in like the late '70s, and I've been hooked on it ever since. So again, I grew up with the guys Lee Haney and those guys from the '80s, Samir Bannout. Then you got Ronnie Coleman. Just all those, Sean Ray. I mean, all those guys. I followed. I used to buy the magazines and whatnot. So now it's, everything's kind of digital now. But yeah, I still follow the sport. It's still inspiring. I watch training videos just for like motivation more so than anything. Not that I do. It's weird because I would never do a lot of the stuff these guys do, but it's still inspiring. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you see like Ronnie Coleman squatting 800 pounds and all that kind of stuff. Like, I used to watch Ronnie Coleman training videos like every week. I mean, I was just so,
Yeah, I remember watching some of that stuff. It was pretty good, actually.
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually, even the Rock has some good training
He
videos too.
does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah. So it just gets you into a mode. It's like, yes, let's just do this. And so I'm always, watching content like that. Also content on training. I think I've really been into, because I've really been working on my squat. And I realized that I need to invest in a real squat belt. I've had other belts in the past, and I realized I didn't have the right equipment So I'm really going in. So I just bought a belt. Hopefully it'll be here by Wednesday. But I've, broke down my squat form, really getting that back up again. So I'm able to get to, so I did 265, like five reps, really looking to build. Okay. So now I'm in echo.
Yeah, you need a good belt, bro. You need to.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna fuck your back up. You know that.
Yeah. So it's but like I said, it really didn't come into play until I changed my form. So now I get really deep, and I change I work with my body rather than the mistake that was being made. And for a while is that, everyone tried to teach you how to squat, and everyone says stay straight up. But when you're taller, just the mechanics of it, you have to go forward. And I was always afraid to do that because everyone was used to say, oh, well, that's just bad form. And so, definitely, hey, that's great. Awesome. And so, you always want to, you have to work with what your body mechanics are, your biomechanics of your body. Some people have longer femurs, longer, torsos or whatnot. So you have to work with that. So rather than everybody saying, okay, you have to do things a certain way, working more with what what works best for me. And I found some good instruction on that. I've been applying that. So it's definitely made a difference in my squat form and whatnot. But I definitely wanted to, make sure I had a real legit weight training belt. I was just wearing I think I had like a Walmart Velcro belt for a long time. But then I was like, okay, okay, you muted now. You muted.
Oh, what about now?
Yeah, you good now.
So I had one of those Velcro bros from the has something was called. They were actually good equipment from for the companies that order you a bunch of you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I never had a problem with it personally, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I can tell you said just make sure when you're squatting, foot position should be shoulder width apart. Yeah, that's all fine. It's really it's the tilt. Again, I'm tall. My legs. I got 34 plus inch inseam, so my legs are such where I have long femurs. But in order to accommodate that, I have to, rather than trying to stay straight up, I have to come over and then use more hip drive in order to get the weight up out of the drive. It works more of the posterior chain. So that's, like I said, that's just small. Yeah, but foot position, feet over the toes, tracking your movements and whatnot. I've always been pretty good at that. But I just really wanted to make sure. And I'm also doing a lot more warm-up sets now in terms of just getting into it. It's almost like, squatting is almost like a golf swing. It's like you go into it, how you do the shifting and whatnot, just to make sure you're in position and everything is right or whatever. But it's almost like a golf swing. Like when a golfer comes up to the tee and he does the stuff, like, everything needs to be, correct. And even if you have to take all the weight off the bar and just use the bar. Now, that's the thing, too. I can't use the standard grip because my hands are very long. So you can see here if a lot of guys, a lot of people in the squat position, they try to have their hands here, and as you can see, my fists are near my ears, but the bar is like down my back, so I have to go kind of all the way out. Now, when you're all the way out like this, trying to get behind a bar, you're not as stable. So I use a safety. So I use it's called a top squat. It's basically a safety bar where I can have my hands out in front of me. So they're here rather than trying to get all the way back here. Plus I almost pull my chest out
like
a couple times trying to do that. So it's these bars that extend out. So it wraps around the bar and you have these handles that go out. So you grab the handles. So you keep it here and then you go up and down with the bar. So you don't use the leather. See, I bought a leather training belt, so I'm about to find out. But I bought a 3-inch one though. The thing is, I also had to, like, you see a lot of people have those super thick belts, but then again, one, you can't breathe in them, and you find it like digging into your rib cage. So I got a 3-inch belt, and so I'm gonna play with that and just to kind of see how it how it works. But can tell you, I mean, I don't know if you've competed or ever competed in fitness. I don't know if you have an IG or something like that. Definitely share. Like to follow your. You seem like you know a lot about the industry. So if you're into that, I'd love to see what you've been doing. Do I leg press? Yes. Hack squat? No, but I do sissies. Because I don't have a hack squat machine, but I do sissy squats in various ways. So I do one type of sissy where it's like you have the machine where you kind of put your legs in. It's almost like a leg extension. You sit down and up. I do that form of sissy, and then I do a one where I attach a belt to a chain. I'm able to do that also. So it really fries the quads. But then I also like to do leg extensions as well. So usually I don't do, especially at my age now, I don't overdo it, meaning I don't do 50 sets for an exercise. Usually it's one set of a particular movement that I'll do per exercise. So I'll either do sissies or leg extensions, but not both. Not within the same workout because again, it does for me. It doesn't serve the purpose. But I do one good set, and that working set is the failure, and I get out of there, and then I move on to the next thing. Like I said, my workouts typically I work out twice a week, and no workouts more than like 50 minutes. Leg day is usually about 35 minutes. Upper body, which I train today, is usually about 50 minutes or less. So I keep it it's very intense, but again, I put in a lot of rest periods because again, the growth happens in the rest, not in the workout. And I learned a long time ago when I stopped beating, especially because I am an ectomorph. When I stopped beating up my body, I grew better. I got stronger. But I followed, like I said, Arnold's Encyclopedia Bodybuilding. So, I was following that thing for years. And I wasn't progressing, so I realized that, they say insanity is keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So I need to change things up. And so when I got into the more high intensity training, Mike Mincer, Arthur Jones type of training, that was really the game changer for me. And it's definitely it works, especially me being an ectomorph, focusing on rest and recovery more so than just working all the time. And I took my workout time from 8 to 10 hours a week down to like an hour a week. And that was, that made a difference, not only in my results, but it also made a difference in my lifestyle, that I had more time to do other things that I might have been neglecting. Like I remember one time I asked a guy who was into the program, he said, well, what are you going to do with all the extra time on your hands? And he was like, he kind of sarcastically said, I don't know, read a book, spend time with your wife, spend time with your kids, because
So in other words, actually being a man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but it's just crazy how even something that you think is healthy or has a benefit to it, that even anything can be too much. So I know a lot of people, you put in 2 hours a night, 5-6 days a week, and that's just like a culture, and that's just something that you do. And sometimes you get into a point where you just do it blindly, even though you're not getting results from it. So again, the ability to take a step back and understand why it is you're doing what you're doing, and consider changing some things that again may work better with your goals, your lifestyle, and also your body. Again, understanding how your body works, and understanding that not every workout, especially when you're talking about non-enhanced, I'll just say that, okay? When you talk about a non-enhanced individual, yeah, we don't have the recovery of some of the folks. As much as I love the Olympia, I love the competition. I'm saddened when you hear a lot of these guys in their 40s dying. It's sad to hear and whatnot. But again, I'm always going to appreciate the grind and the dedication that these guys have. But again, these guys, it's weird because when you watch the event, these people on stage, a lot of them are like near death. I mean, you're talking about dehydrated, not having fluids for several hours, high blood pressure, all these kind of things. In fact, you've had guys who passed out on stage. You've had people who've died shortly, before and after competitions. I know a couple of years ago, you had a guy who was at the Olympia, died in his room before the event. Because again, these guys are in such a weakening. It looks so impressive
that is
on
my
stage.
issue with Olympia is like they pushed the bar so far.
Yeah.
And the risk versus reward is not that much. People think these guys are going to be rich off the fucking Olympia. They're not.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think most of them understand that. I mean, it's like to be where these guys are, you have to, and the women.
I'm sorry, Paul. I don't agree with it personally.
Yeah, but it's anything. It's like it's their lives. I mean, for a lot of them, And that's for a lot of people. And you'll understand that probably more than anybody. There's people who would rather do what they love or their passion, find something that drives them, and they would rather die early from it than live a life of mediocrity and live to 90. And so for these folks, for a lot of these folks, they found a passion that is almost like a calling to bodybuilding, and they for them it is life. And but again, sometimes they push it a bit too far in pursuit of whatever it is they're pursuing, and so it goes that way. But again, they really, yeah, that's why we don't like you. I could tell you. Mesomorph 6 days a week with 1 day off. Yeah, that's why we don't like you very much. Still send, still share content if you have it, but yeah, yeah, we don't like mesomorphs, endomorphs, and ectomorphs. We don't train you guys. Yeah, we definitely plan on training the cruise. In fact, the cruise ship that we're on, they got a pretty nice gym. Yeah, still no sound effects, but we definitely that's going to be part of the plan also. So yeah, so we like to stay active and whatnot. Plus, it psychologically is good for us because like if we work hard, we can eat hard. So we always kind of build that into everything that we do. But like I said, it's inspiring. I just like the dedication, the discipline. And again, for a lot of these people, if they weren't bought into bodybuilding or doing what they did, there's no telling where they would have been. And so again, they found the vehicle which they can express themselves and be, feel better about, themselves as individuals. And again, the discipline that comes with that training, it affects every part of your body. But with that, you know, um, good evening, David. Good to have you on with us tonight. Hopefully, you want to just check your audio.
Good.
Cool. Is that
Good
a
evening,
new mic?
everybody. Can anybody hear me right now?
Yeah. Is that a new microphone?
I had this mic for a while. No, it's not a new mic. I had it for a while now, the Yeti mic. There was before I started having this crazy weird issue. Like I said, I told go to
Hmm.
spotter. The main issue is my power supply. I had the power supply for almost a decade. So if you're into
Hmm.
what I do, which is CBN tech, I work with the building computer. Only a man draw in the chat understand what I'm talking
Hmm.
about. You can have a power supply for almost a decade, but if you're not careful, it start to act real fun
Okay.
and mess up your
All
system.
right. You were breaking up a little bit there, so we didn't get all that. You were breaking up a little bit.
But I kind of like overlooked that. So
Hmm.
I'm trying not to have too many programs running in the background, so I can have all the resource flying like an airplane. But that used to be my thing.
Hmm.
So I feel like to put your body through it. Hey, Kat, how you doing?
Yeah.
I can't say I'm a bodybuilder, but coming from a mixed martial art background from Shichu or karate, Ghost know this very well. We are taught to train our body to condition and strengthen. That's the only reason I was working out so much for so long in my early years to prevent my body from going to pain and injury. Train your body so you can recover fast. Build a level of strength and impact. So in case of you into a sparring match or you into a grappling match, you can
Hmm.
utilize certain strength at a certain time. The workout we do, it may look like a bodybuilding workout, but it's not.
Hmm.
We're trying to train muscles that you haven't even touched yet.
Right. But did you guys? And I go, this is totally off topic because we're kind of on topic now. The basic lifts, squats, deadlifts, bench
We,
press,
in my
shoulder press.
experience,
I mean, like the real. I mean, just basic. You want to talk
so
about
I
like the
did that.
meat and potatoes? Yeah.
so in
I
my
did that.
experience,
Hmm.
we didn't lift at all. We did only like calisthenics, like pull-ups, push-ups, anything with your body weight. So doing like a deadlift, we didn't do deadlifts. That because in back in the day, they didn't have all this equipment. So your best equipment was your body. So we worked off our bodies.
That's interesting because I mean the lifts I'm talking about, you don't need equipment really, right?
Now,
You just need a
he
barbell with some plates. I mean, that's as simple as
he
it
A
right
gets.
barbell
here,
plate's still equipment, Paul. If you really
he have
think
a
about it.
different approach than I had when I was in high school, right? In the karate routine, everything. Now, people would think this is crazy. I'll be the guy hiding to the class, right? I have two tables right here next to me. I have one table behind my back. I'm going in the push up. You know when you're doing push up above the ground level, it's like you having gravity push on your body, right? But you go
Mhm.
even further deeper. I was doing that at training. When you get to the dorm, I was in the boarding school. We get the old tires. You'll put one tire on my back. We're doing the type of thing without the weight.
Mhm.
Now, if you watch Africa, how we normally do weight training, you see with the engine part, where
Yeah,
one
yeah,
side
yeah, yeah,
heavy the
yeah.
other.
Tire
That,
wheels and axles and
no,
stuff like that.
but
Yeah.
but we were doing that in the dorm. We have one heavy engine part, one side heavy than the other. So to make sure your arm doesn't get lopsided, we do 10 one side, we flip around, do 10 the other side. So you feel the heaviness on both arms. That was our way of weightlifting. And we were doing it back in high school, mind you, not in
Mhm.
adult yet, high school. We would hide those things under our bunk so the we don't know that we are doing this. So middle of the night, we pass it around. I'll do 60. Remember, one the heavy side on each arm. Boom, you feel it. Pass it around. We do the same thing. After he done, I'm still doing push up. I'm doing squat. We do the same thing with the shoulder. We're doing all kind of things where we can get our hands on. It
Mhm.
wasn't like we had gym at the time
Right.
compared to
Right.
how people have it in US. We had the gym, the same way we would have done the same thing.
Right.
It wasn't going to be a problem because the brown belt and the black belt in our clan, Chitua Karate, were wearing weight on their ankle every day.
By the time you
From
hit black belt or brown belt, you should at least know the basics. By
hmm
the time you brown belt means only like you're about to become a teacher. That's what it really means. So you're getting prepared to become a sensei. So
hmm
once you get your first degree brown, second and third, you're right past like it's like going to college now. You're in college, so you learn how to be a teacher. All right, so you learn your basics. Brown one. Once you hit those occasions, you get to your second degree brown. You still do the test and all that stuff. Then when you pass your states, for example, for a second brown.
hmm
Then you pass your masters. Your masters is getting into your black belt, and that's where training does never stop. For a black belt, training just begins, and it keeps turning like a black belt really means okay. Back in the day, everybody started with white belt. It turned to different colors over time from training, rolling around. Like first it would turn yellow. From yellow it turned to purplish,
purple, yeah.
green, and so
No,
on. Every
well, white, yellow, purple, and there's orange, and there's green, and there's blue, and
depends on
there's
the
brown.
style. Yeah, keep that in mind. Depends on the style. Every style is
I know.
different.
I'm just about
So
my own, but
over
that's how we're going.
over time, the belt changes colors because of that reason, and it's just one of those things like what the fuck. But you learn and you grow up with them that like so by the time you get your black belt, it's from the dirt. That's why it's literally it's like sending in martial art. If you drop your belt on the ground, expect to get your ass whooped. But I just realized also when I went to my vacation in Maryland, CQ science in judo. Judo doesn't care if you drop your belt on the ground. I'm like, I was like, dude, I was literally like this. I was about to jump in there in on the mat. Like, what the fuck, man? How do you let your students put your belt? Like, CQ was gonna calm me down. Like, dude, this is judo, bro. This is not
That's
karate,
Mandrill kind of
kung
thing.
fu. I'm sorry.
That Mandrill kind of thing. He liked that kind of thing.
What judo?
Hell yeah, that's Mandrill.
No, it's not a bad
Mandrill had a back.
style, brother. It's not a bad style. It's a very good style.
He started off in
I
karate just like you and I, but he finished toward the end of judo, so that's what he like more now.
every style is different,
I know.
so we gotta keep that in mind.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you guys something again, Dave. You mentioned push-ups, so it's almost a tradition now. So on my birthday, I have to do my agent push-ups consecutively. So if I was going to ask you right now, get on your drop, and give me whatever you got. How many could you knock out in one shot right now?
Right now, maybe 20 or 30 right now because I haven't been consistent like I used to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's bad. But when I was in my 30, when I was like by myself, I would say 40 or 50 because I was doing that thing like a religion.
Right.
Because when you constantly train and don't give yourself a break, your arms start to feel different.
Mm-hmm.
And there's level to it. I remember one time we were doing a push-up contest in the church. Now the pastor thought we were crazy. I was fortunate everybody to catch up with me. At one point, I did 60 push-ups without stopping. Another guy only beat me by 65. And I was mad. I said, no, I need to come back. No one allowed to beat me. But now really out motivated people want to get into being shape because the more push-up you're doing without stopping, the more you start to feel not only the strength, but you feel your muscle strength feeling different. The kind of trick you have in your arm, it don't feel the same no more. So when you want to see how far you can push your body, I remember I went to a old sensei. He said, you get to the level you do 100 push-ups without stopping, then you know you're not the same no more. You're not on the same class of regular people. Just consider yourself an abhuman because regular
Yeah.
human
Well, like
don't
I said, I got to
understand.
do 50 on any given time. I can drop and probably do 4 like right now. Well, maybe not now because I did upper body today, so I'm pretty wiped out. I'd say I'd say by Tuesday, I could probably knock out 35 to 40. I'm hearing an echo again.
I know.
Probably 35 to 40, like out the box. Not no doubt. But it's weird. Once you get past 40, it's like the monkey gets on your back, and then it's like 41, 42, 43,
Oh, I hate
44,
decline push-up.
45. So it's so for me again to build up to 55, which is what I have to do. I need I need a few weeks. So I got 2 weeks, all right, to do this. So
Well,
starting
Mr. Bennett, you're better than me.
Tuesday.
At your age, you're better than me, and that's a compliment because
So starting
unlike someone we
Tuesday,
know,
yeah,
can do 10 push-up, aka earthquake.
yeah. So
Hey,
it's
I'm
like
taking it down.
that's the goal. I got to do 55. In fact, the last couple of years I got to do 56 because really the birthday starts the first day of season 56. So really the goal is 56, not 55. And last year, like I barely did 50. I mean, it was like
I do not like
it was
decline
like this.
push-up. I do not like
So
decline push-up. When you're going
if you
down when
were to
doing
do a
push-up,
challenge, if
Yeah,
you want a real
I've done all
challenge,
kinds. Yep.
diamond bombers. Never heard of those?
Yeah. Dive bombers, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
diamond, and you start from the
Yep, you go
angle
out
and
and you
straight
go all
up.
the way out and then you go
Yep.
straight up. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you
So what about you? So right now,
depends
drop.
which ones we're talking about. Are we talking about knuckle push-ups or regular
Just
hand down?
just regular push-ups. You know,
go
no
to
knuckles
showing
or
off.
anything.
I
Just
Go to
do
showing
hands.
off right now.
Just
Let's go to
hands
showing
and
off.
just
I
do.
do knuckles. I do knuckles only. So
See?
knuckles
Fine, knuckle
between
on.
showing
Okay, so
off
drop
right
down.
now.
So what do you
20
get?
to
He's
20
showing
and
off.
30.
Now, do you do them like on the cement and all that kind of stuff, or the
Fuck it. I
concrete?
know.
or
I
the-
come from standing up. I come from going up. I go, boom, straight down. A punch to the ground, and you hear
Two
a
knuckles.
clunk. Yep. You're like, you know how Randy Orton gets ready for his RKO, and he looks up, and then he spins, goes straight down to the ground. Similar concept I do. He stole that from me. So yeah, I was had
And the thing
copyright
is,
that movie.
So
when you,
20. So
when you
20.
do knuckle push-up, it's good for the wrist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and definitely, like I
You're
said,
right.
that having the first two knuckles is where it's like. So it's almost like you're punching every push up. It's like you're punching, not just doing the push ups. But I'm just saying, just a standard fit test. Like how many push ups you could do if we had a chin up bar. Just just go. Just went to a chin. Go to a park. Go to a chin up bar. How many chins do you think you do?
Oh.
That's 5 for me. That's one I always struggle on. I always
If I
struggle
do
on that
10, that's a miracle. I'm serious though. Here's the thing.
No. It's
Bennett.
weird. 'Cause No,
Here's the thing.
I'm not. I'm not laughing. I'm not saying.
I know.
I know guys who could pull the rack. You've seen this too. Guys who could pull the stack in the gym on a lat
But can I
pull
do
down machine. The whole stack can't do one push, one chin up, or pull up or chin up. They can't do either. So
I know that.
they're very different
Because
things. Yeah.
it's a different feeling because they're not training the actual core muscles.
Correct.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I know this thing very, very well. I have the thing. I'll tell him. I teach my son about push up. I tell you, if you want to know how much weight you'll push when doing push up, go on a push up stand, put your hand on a scale, then you see how much weight you'll push when doing push up.
Hmm.
I'll teach my son. I'll give my son the science behind it. I said, when you're light, you got it good now. But when you got
Hmm.
more weight on your body and you start doing push up, it's not the same when you are lighter. So I'm
Yeah.
teaching them right now, get you to work and make it a habit, make it a lifestyle. Cause I was doing that to
Right.
my son when he was 11, 10, no, around 10, 11 years old. And his mama complained, oh, leave out. I said, I'm training my son, making sure he can be strong. So he had this stamina and the build up. Now, he want to train hard, but when I'm trying to get him prepared ahead of time, he's in basketball practice. He coming home all like, I'm tired. Like, and the problem is, hit the shower. But I'm tired. I say, oh, what if your coach were here? What your coach going to tell your ass? This guy admitted in front of me and his mom that his coach is way worse than me. That his coach is the asshole. But I thought I was the asshole. What happened?
Mm. Yeah.
You complaining to your
Yeah.
mom? Oh, my daddy do some push up. Oh, get used to it now. Now you got to ask over coach. You want to be on the starting line? Do more push up. Do more squat. But when I'm doing it
Absolutely.
before they join the
Right.
sport, I'm the bad guy.
Mm.
Next time I'm gonna give my
Now, could
roundhouse kick on the
tell his
back.
point. Yeah. Now, to Catel's point, I typically do my push-ups using handles. In fact, I made my own handles. I made two types of handles using plastic piping from Home Depot. So you get the pipes from Home Depot, and I put them together and whatnot. So I made my own. Also, you got the ones so you can twist. So as you go up and down, you can
Mm-hmm.
twist on those as you do it. You got the perfect push-up ones. Yeah,
That do your
yeah, those
number
are
one dude.
challenging too. Yeah, those are challenging too, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, I mean, it's just now it's about again maintaining a
It
certain
will
level
hurt
of
ghosts.
ab
The
wheel.
ab
See, I
roller.
got the classic man. See that one? That's cheating. I'm sorry, that's cheating.
How's
That
that cheating?
because it
No, no.
has a piece where
You may
it'll
think it's
retract you
cheating.
back.
Yeah,
It's
but here's the
cheating.
problem. Here's the trick
I
to it.
haven't used that one. I used the old
No,
school
here's
one.
the trick to it.
That's what I'm saying.
I know I used it, but the thing about it, it hurt me more because I'm not doing the cheating part like people. Oh, it's like I go all the way down to the point where it's hard to get back up,
No,
and
but
you
I'm
do
saying,
that
but
ab muscle
that
to yourself.
device has a retractable option, right?
It does, but
That's
it
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
bother
That's what I'm
me.
saying. It's cheating. Now if you don't use it, then it's not cheating. But I'm just saying. But it's kind of psychological when you know you have that option.
He's right. Cassidy is right. This is the one that Navy SEAL created. That's the one that Navy SEAL created. That
Hmm.
is hardcore. And the way it works, I try to do 50 sit up on this thing, 50 ab roll. And
Hmm.
I hate to say this. I will not recommend anybody to do that.
The
I will
most
not.
I've done is probably 30, 35. That's the
Mm,
most I've ever done. But
that's
yeah,
good. But I'm telling you right now, the time I was doing 50, all I knew I could not eat. You know what it felt like when your abs put
heard
you
that
on
bad boy.
lockdown, like you in prison, and only 2 spoons will fool you. You can't eat past
Mm.
2 spoons. That's what it feel like. I feel like a prison bitch doing that ab thing 50 times straight. And I was like in pain. I was like, ah. I wanted to go to the hospital to get an injection to relax much, but I said, nah, suck it up. What goes? Like you want to go to the same thing too? I'm sure you said that I done you dirty one time. You doing over 100 sit up. You got up. You was like would be like, okay, I need to eat 1 spoon of rice, and that was it. You were full. You know that feeling.
Oh, I done
You
that.
can't
I
deny
done it
that one.
worse than this shit. I'm like you take one step off, like you go like I done that shit. I
And
done
you don't want to
puking. I
fall
done
off.
it all, bro.
Hmm.
But when you
The
fall
worst,
and your ab is
the
squeezing you,
worst
it's like
one. Listen, worst one for both of you put together, not separate together. You won't be able to survive this. Most people. Black belt test, 24 hours. 90-degree weather outside. Your instructor puts the heat on to 100. Your uniform is this thick, a carpet style. You don't stop. The only way you stop
Mm-hmm.
if you get carried out. The only way you stop. That was the worst test I ever done.
I heard it's the same thing in my
Most people
country,
don't
but it's
pass this
African
test.
heat you're dealing with. You're dealing with African heat. The sun is cooking the concrete ground, and you can smell your feet cooking, sizzling, bare feet. I heard that same thing. They had them doing the whole, and it's when I heard how bad it is for them to get the black belt, they put them through the ringer. I'm talking about you come with a white gi that day, it turned brown.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So, you guys ready to get into this show or what?
Yes, sir.
All
Let's get
right.
into it.
All right. Who wants to go first about who has their opinion about Kingsman?
Well,
Uh,
I'll just start off because I admit one, I didn't watch, I didn't get a chance to watch any of the films. However, I did watch, some summary overviews of what the films were about, and I remember the trailer when it came out, the first one, and even then, though, I wasn't in a rush to see it for the simple reason that I thought it was, a highly stylized type of spy kind of thing, almost like an homage to the James Bond franchise or the Avengers franchise, not the MCU Avengers. I'm talking about the original Avengers spy show from the '60s. Um, I thought it was sort of a bit of a homage to that, but with just a lot of stylized flips and jumps and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I really wasn't interested because I think at the time you had a lot of, back in that time you had, the Kill Bill franchise, and then again you had the John was the what's the franchise we were just talking about recently, the one with all the shooting,
John Wick.
John Wick's
John Wick.
franchise. Just a lot of stylized violent hyper violence or stuff that just didn't make any sense, wouldn't make any sense in reality. So I was like, at the time my attitude was, oh, this is just another one. And so, I think at the time also I think I was really into the Daniel Craig Bonds, which I think took a much more serious tone in the
Mm-hmm.
franchise, especially after the last few entries from the Bozeman um, James Bond series. I thought they kind of the last
Mm-hmm.
couple movies they got into the silly, like the Roger Moore ones, and so
Mm-hmm.
I was so into, so I was starting to embrace more serious spy and espionage movies like Born Identity, so something that was a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
real. And just looking at the
Mm-hmm.
trailer, I was like, this isn't going to be anything in reality. This might be almost like I don't know if they were trying to make a spoof of spy movies or the James Bond franchise, or was this just a hyper? So again, I watched the overview of all. I think there were 3 films, and from what I understand, the consensus is that each film was progressively worse than the previous film. With the last film, The King's Man, not resembling anything that was like The King's Men. I mean, it was it didn't have the level of choreography that the other movies had, and it just didn't you didn't have the tech because obviously they went back in time almost like to the founding of the King's Man. So so a lot of people didn't really like that or whatnot, but it's from what I understand now, I don't think there's no one's in a rush to produce another film. So this will not be a 25 movie franchise like the James Bond series or what have you, but but for, there's an audience for it. I think people, from what I understand, people like the first one, um, because it was almost like a James Bond movie, but with the hyper stunts and flips and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully I'll get. And it's weird. This is again one of my biggest peeves, right? I think Pete, we talked about that last week. So I have Netflix, I have Amazon Prime, I have Max, and it's not on any one of them. so, so it's like I almost refuse. It's like, wait a minute, I got 3 streaming services with apparently tens of thousands of titles. And for whatever reason, when I'm in the mood to watch a particular film, that film is not available on any platform without paying for it. I'm like, look, I'm already paying you guys monthly. I am not, out of principle, I am not paying for more than what I'm already subscribing for. So if you don't have my movie, then I'm just going to have to wait until you guys either put it back in circulation. But by that time, I'm not even interested in the movie anymore now. But it's like I've gotten burnt time and time again where I just get into my mind, hey, I want to see this movie. It's been a while. I'm going to see this movie again. I go in. The movie might have been there like a month ago, but I didn't want to see it. I just recognized it was there. Then I go back in, and the movie's gone. And again, you got to play the waiting game until they bring it back in circulation. So tens of thousands of movies. What is the chance that the movie I want to see is not there? In my experience, has always been pretty high. And so
I
we
have
find
an issue
ourselves
with
in
that
that state
too.
again.
I have a problem with that. I have a big beef with these companies. They have all these library of movies. I don't care how they do it. Figure the fuck out. Because we pay a lot of fucking money to watch these fucking movies and through this fucking streaming. It pisses me the fuck off when I cannot fucking watch what I want. I gotta pay extra $10 after I pay all this fucking money. Wait, I got a couple more fucks coming, so get ready.
Yeah, I'm counting.
You know what? You should have like I again, if my sound effects worked, it would be nice because I'm trying here, guys. So David, I'm gonna need your help
Ladies
after
and
this to
gentlemen,
fix this problem. Fuck you.
ladies and gentlemen, Ghost was part
Earthquake.
of it with no, I ain't earthquake. They did a public announcement. This is what every man hates about the streaming service. We found a movie that we actually want to watch, but it's under a pay block. We
The
don't want
only
to pay
one.
trying to find another way around. I got Netflix.
The only.
I got
Hang
I
on,
got
David.
Hulu.
1 second. I got them all. The only one, and I'm surprised to say this. It hurts me to fucking say this. Okay. Hang on. I'm gonna come close. Come close. Come closer. The only one that actually gives a little shit and you get value of your fucking money is Disney Plus, and they're usually nickel and diming people. Disney, because when they put something on a streaming service, it does not ever come off. You gotta give them credit for that.
Okay.
All right, Dave, you got the fucking
you're right
floor.
about that. I will say this for the person who have Netflix, I have Hulu, and I have
Kingsman,
Amazon Prime.
dumbass.
Watching the Kingsman, I was able to get it downloaded way in advance because I trying to find time to watch. I watched the first two. The first one is almost Jane by itch, but it's almost like it's like some kind of lineage of Spied. If you look at it, because to me, when it comes to movies, TV series, or anything concerning anime, I'm looking at the storyline and see how they make sense to me. The way they did the Kingsman, as if this man from the first movie were trying to bring it into something that had been passed down for multiple generations. Some didn't think that there could be a thing he would get himself into, but he got into it. His father got taken out. He get trained to replace his father.
Mhm.
Sound interesting, like what was that movie when Angelina Jolie when she did guy how to shoot a bullet and spin it and have it curve from a long distance? Remember that movie? I'm sure you remember that
What that
movie.
was the one with
It's
Brad
called
Pitt?
Want It.
What didn't want it. This one was that whereby they have a specialized bullet that you can shoot. You don't have to shoot it straight. You just have to do a certain thing, and the bullet will
Yeah, it's called
curve.
the movie's called Want It.
Want it? Okay,
The
yeah.
movie's called Want It.
It was something like that. And I was like, Oh, I paid close attention to detail. Like, let's keep watching it. The first one was good. The second one was like, it was almost like a letdown. I didn't try to watch the third one because just like Mr. Bennett said, there are so many espionage movies out there. John Wick was looking better than all the most. The Bourne Identity, the Bourne series was based on a novel was looking pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the actor after the second one. I was like, why would you do that in the first place? Okay, whatever. I look at that. James Bond. Well, if you were watching James Bond from the 80s to the 90s, but we found out it's been there to the 70s, everyone was picked to be a James Bond. I'm like, God damn. Every James Bond actor give it their own flair. To the latest one, whereby it's more realistic, more rugged, more like, I want to whoop your ass type of. I kind of enjoyed that. Then, no offense, I do not, and I repeat, Aqua I hurt your feelings. I do not watch Mission Impossible. I just don't.
Wow. Wow.
It's not my cup of tea. For the
Did you
simple
ever watch the
fact,
old?
this dude wanted to be the American version of Jackie Chan. Screwed you.
Did you ever watch the '60s
Hey,
TV show?
yeah, I did to a certain degree. I was like, okay, cool. But when he did it, I don't want to mention his name. And when we had it, he wanted to do all the stunt because a certain individual named Jackie Chan was known and recorded for doing his own stunt. He had broken almost every single bone in his body. He had the longest medical sheet. And how he threw living, the mute
Are you
monster
talking
got him
about Tom
again.
Cruise, dude?
I want to mention his name. The guy was
Okay, I'm not
acting
trying to.
Google
I'll get
Gaga.
mentioned.
No. Because he was on the Oprah Winfrey show. I was like, okay, where's the straight jacket? Can you touch one on him real quick?
I actually think
I
they're good
never,
movies,
like, I,
bro.
know,
Mission
I never liked
Impossible.
Tom Cruise because you remember when he did this movie called The Reacher,
Yeah, I know
and
Jack
that.
based
Reacher.
on the
Yeah.
novel The Reacher, the
I wasn't a
tall
fan
ass
of that
dude,
movie.
not a short midget guy.
Yeah.
He did a Reacher movie. They had to redo it all over. Find a real guy that fitted the description. You read the novel, the Reacher was described as throwing you call
Yeah,
him a
you're right.
brick
The
house. He
the
was a
Reacher.
big dude.
Yeah, the show it actually represents him really well,
Yeah.
actually. But let me
Yeah.
ask you this
It
question,
was
David,
done
because
properly.
You're on a Tom Cruise rant right now. Top Gun, not a fan of it, I guess.
First one, yes. Second one, I didn't watch it. First one, a
Okay,
classic to me.
so I agree. Second one is good,
I love
but
the
doesn't.
second one. I loved it.
You
No,
think the second one is better than the
let
first
me
one?
tell you why. Let me tell you why I didn't watch the second one. There's the same thing that happened when we come to America. The first Coming to America was great. It took a long period of break before you do the second one, and it was. I'm like, I don't want to deal with the Hollywood curses when they want to do that sequel and it took you too long to do it and become crap. So I was like, let me spare my eye so not to watch the second one because if I hate it, I will hate the whole thing. Because when it comes to dealing sequel with movies, come on, Mr. Bear, you know that I'm not beating around the bush with this one. Some people don't know how to do it properly, and anal. I'm very anal when it comes to a movie and make it make sense. Do not drop the ball. Don't let the second one be worse than the first one. You want to be going upward, not down here in progression.
But keep in mind, though, I think a lot of the reason that happens is that no one is necessarily expecting anything out of the first movie. Like no one writes a movie with a sequel per se in mind. So it's like, oh, wait a minute, this actually worked. This is a blockbuster or whatever. Oh, how can we make it better? But the sequel was not built into the film, which is oftentimes why the sequel is never better than the first. So typically sequels that have been based on novels that are part of a sequel, they typically work. Now, for one, I understand from the Kingsman, the second movie was a departure from what I understand, the first movie was pretty faithful to the book, to the first graphic novel or whatever. The second one, they went in a different direction. And for a lot of people, it was hit or miss. So anytime, and that's the thing too, anytime you start a franchise based on a book, you automatically have an audience and an expectation that you should fulfill. But for some reason, Hollywood studios They'll buy the rights to the franchise, but they won't follow it faithfully. George Lucas had the sequels. I mean, to episodes 4, 5, and 6 already written. But Disney said, thanks, but no thanks. We don't want it. We're going to go in this direction. And we know what happened after that.
I made that comment on camera before. They were fucking idiots for
Yeah.
that one. But
And this is why I watch Japanese or Korean movies, because they stick to the book, unlike these numbnuts in Hollywood.
So
these wackos think they can do better.
In their defense, David, in their defense, I don't think the actors will be able to do those stunts and do the acting the way they were supposed to be doing it, because it took like 100 years to make the movie afterwards. So you have to keep that in mind. That's where Disney's were thinking. So do you see, Luke jumping up and down like he was supposed to? No. So that's why they kind of scrapped it. I don't agree with it. I think there should be another way around it, like CGs or stunt doubles or whatever. So again, it's just one of those things. Is you know what I'm saying?
When Disney had their movie, their series in Netflix called The Daredevil, called Luke Cage, called The Iron Fist, those things were getting traction on the Netflix side of things. But you want to take it out and redo the whole thing and do your own little flair and make it kind of like, come on, let's be realistically real. I have an issue with American production when they don't know how to keep it to the book, keep it to the storyline. I don't want your woke bullshit in it. Hello. I don't want your idea in it. Hello. Stick to the novel. The reason why the novel got a huge fan base. Not your dumb idea. The book idea. It's called pay attention to its instruction. That's how it's supposed to look. That's how it's supposed to feel. I could care less. You have a different idea. Then make your own different kind of movie. Don't go and fuck this shit up. The when you fuck it up.
Here's my question.
And go ahead.
So I assume between both of you guys think Kingsman is a horrible series, correct?
Again, I can't speak because I haven't watched it. I just wasn't attracted to it because of it almost looks like James Bond meets Kill Bill, essentially what it looked like to me.
I felt, before I even put my opinion, David, you go first. I'm sorry, you go first.
Watching the first one, I thought there would be hope for the second one would do even better. They will follow the book. When I watched the second one, if you like a nerdy ass person like me and you want to understand what the hell is going on, when you're watching this movie, you have to catch on to it. You're like, hold on. They didn't follow the book. They took a left turn here. They passed this here. Like, what's up? What's the deal with this one? And when you start to see everything play out, you start to ask yourself, who idea was this? Who thought this was going to work? Who was that weed head that think, they're going to make it? Who thought this was actually going to happen? There's ghosts. There's a reason why the Japanese, the Korean theaters, and the African theater is whooping American theater ass and generating money now. Authenticity, keeping to the book, produce great outcome. I can watch so much Japanese, Korean movie, TV series, because I know they will stick to the book. They don't want to sway away from it, because they know what caught these people all want to read it. They want to see what I said, it's just like anime. No different. But whenever American production get their hand on anything and want to put their own idea, I'm sorry, you didn't write the book. Why would I want to hear your idea?
Yeah. Or at least have a plan.
Do such a thing.
At least have a plan to have because I know the films where they actually had the sequel in mind, the two franchises that I know that had multiple films, actually 3 of them, that had multiple films in the works, some even recording at the same time. The original Superman franchise, Superman 1 and 2 were actually filmed together. The only reason why it looked different is because Richard Donner left the project halfway through, and Richard Lester had to finish the directing of it, and it took a direction. A lot of people still say it was a great movie, but it could have been better. And if you ever watched the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, has a very different ending than the other one. The other one we know, obviously, we know the oh geez, the one with I just had a brain freeze. They filmed all three movies together at the same time. The
Lord of the Rings.
no.
Mhm.
The futuristic
No, Lord of the Rings
the
different.
futuristic movies with the people in the pods
Matrix?
and whatnot. What's that? The Matrix,
Matrix.
yeah. The Matrix movies, at least two of them were filmed
Two of
like
them, not three. The first
Right.
one wasn't knowing going to be a hit first. So when they greenlined the other two, they did them together to save money. That's the only reason why they
correct.
did
But
it.
but it kept it tight. And then I thought Lord of the Rings, I thought there was also like a a lot more coordination, or at least the plan was to
No, Lord of the Rings. As a director said, he said it took a year for each one to be done because when they done that 1 year, they took like a 1 month break before they went back into production for the next one.
Exactly.
And they kept it to it because the way they did the Lord of the Rings. If anyone who has, I bought the book. That book is bigger than
Yeah.
the Bible.
You can
Whoever
literally knock somebody
read
the
the book,
fuck out with that book.
anyone who have read the book and told them what they say, the movie was only about 60% of the book. And that was a massive, big deal because the amount of detail was in that book.
Mm.
They say you might want to do a TV series on this because this is not something simple. It's like you created a whole entire world. It was ridiculous. So when you watch The Lord of the Ring, Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Tower, The Return of the King, it connected well. But to enjoy it better, you got to watch the extended version. Then you see more in depth of the stuff that you not see in this theater, in the extended version. And when you watch that, and when they did The Hobbit, you hungry to see and they did The Hobbit just, man, the way they did The Hobbit, that's what I say, I have to get the extended version Blu-ray DVD for all 6 of them. The whole 3 for the Lord of the Rings series, the other 3 for the Hobbit. But here's the jig. The regular DVD was actually a 4-disc set for each chapter. 2 discs for the movie and 2 discs to show what it took them to produce that movie. When they had it in Best Buy, I remember I told this story before. I was working in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, one of the biggest Best Buy in that area. It was one of the best. When they came out there in the store, I copied my own copy with a 9-disc copy and I hid it. Because you know why? When it's time to sell that thing sold way worse than hotcake. That thing went off the shelf. I had to wait for 2 months before I pulled out my own copy and paid for it. I was happy. I watched the extended version. I could not sleep. I was like, I did not miss not one detail. It was properly done. It was so detailed. And when I heard the book is only 60% of the book, I said, damn, imagine do the whole book itself and put it as a TV series. They're doing that series right now on Amazon
Lord of the Rings.
based on
Yeah.
the book.
It's not that good, actually. Believe it. A lot of people are not liking it.
Yes. Do you know why they're not liking it? Most of them don't read.
A lot of Americans don't,
The
bro.
people who don't
That's
read
facts.
about
Well,
That's
the
that's
thing
anyone
is,
watch
though,
movie, I'm because you dumb dumb.
right? But the thing is, it's almost what they say: ignorance is bliss, right? So again, I think
Understated.
honestly, the people
Mhm.
who read, I think they have a worse time at the theater. They just do because that's the first thing they always go to. The movies were not now again. The Godfather movie franchise. I know Mario Puzo. Now again, as far now, I don't know if the book came after the movie or the other way around. I don't know the release time when the Godfather book came out. But again, I've read the Godfather book multiple times, and it seems like it's pretty good, almost to the point where I would think that the book came later, or the book was made in parallel, because that was really faithful to the book. Now, again, Godfather 3 or whatnot. They said it wasn't. I liked it, but obviously it wasn't. It didn't hold up to the other ones. But that's not fair. It's almost like saying Godfather 1 and 2 is like a 95 and a 98 on the score, but Godfather 3 is like an 80, 85. Not
And
bad, but again,
I'm
when
glad
your
you mentioned
expectation is that high,
Mr. Bennett.
it's leaves you wanting.
Mr. Bennett, I'm glad you mentioned that because this is why there have been a growing following of people who win mangas and watch their favorite manga come to life in the anime and done justice to the point where this have been started for more than 15, 20 years ago. People are not tired of American production because of the failure of producing something authentic that is draw the attention, the people attention, but they were dropping the ball too much. When people start to read the Japanese manga and see how the manga being portrayed in the anime, and not only it was on point, but even done better. We have fans who come together, pitch in, put their memo or their letter. They want to see this done animated or do real life. It gave these people room to want to produce an even better product on the screen
Mhm.
than they see on the book. And when you see the book and you look at the anime or the movie itself, and you're like, not only did it justice, you hate it. The reason why there's a huge fan base for Japanese production now, Korean production now, far more than American production. But you know why? Those people are perfectionists.
Yeah.
It's all
But see, for
about
me, the
doing things
strategy,
right.
yeah, but just works for me just as a because I'm not a huge reader like that as far as reading a bunch of fiction or books or whatever. But to me, it's always better to watch the film and then go back and read the book because again, it's almost like the book is like filling in gaps that the movie may have missed. It gives you additional detail. Or if the movie, if the book is completely different from the film, well, then again, you just say, well, it's different, but it doesn't take away your experience of enjoying the movie. But again,
Mm.
it's hard to be around a lot of readers because you talk about the film or whatnot, and it's just this look. Oh, just, oh, oh. It's just they
But,
just are
but
like
Mr. Bennett,
such
Mr. Bennett, I get
reviled
you.
by the
Yeah.
fact that the movie was so bad. But again,
But
like I said, ignorance is bliss. I mean, like I don't
Mr.
spend
Bennett, Mr. Bennett,
my
I get your
time.
point. But Mr. Bennett, I get your point. But let's go back to the early 80s when it wasn't a book. What a franchise that a lot of people grew up on, aka the Transformer. Grew up watching Transformer from the video to now. But they followed the animated series from day one. Can you
Mhm.
blame them for this
Which
Transformer have
anime series
become?
is?
You both know this. Hey, let's see what Kat said. Let me put the
Thanks, Cattell. Yeah, I looked that up. You're right. Yeah, it was
chat
made in
down.
'69 and then '72. But again, I thought the movie
Okay.
was pretty faithful to the book in terms of it hit um the big ones.
And
Like
it
I
did.
look at the book now because I saw the movie before I read the book. It filled in a lot of detail. Like when they went from scene to scene, they went and explained a lot of things that made the next scene then make sense. Again, it was very faithful
So,
to it.
for example, I know we talk about this. I'm gonna give you the scenario in this one. We talk about book, movie, and real life. Uh, 13 hours, for example. They did a pretty good job transferring from one to the next to the next. They
13 hours? What do you mean?
13 hours. The main guy's incident. We talked about it a little bit last week.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't see that yet, but yeah, I
Yeah.
do remember you.
So the transition from a real story, because I met, like I told you guys, I met Chris Tanto, to the book to a big screen, transition perfectly. So you have those movies that are transitioning very well, but not as much. It's one of few. Like a lot of people say, Black Hawk Down wasn't transitioned too well. I will sit there and disagree because I have met a few people who were at what's it called Black Hawk Down incident. I can't remember the operation name right now off my head. Operation Irene, and they said to me, it wasn't to the T, but it's pretty close. So when you
Yeah.
get up pretty close, I can correct. Now let's with the books, David. Let's be straight up here, bro. People are not reading like they
Mm-hmm.
used to. They're not buying books like they used to. They prefer to read the books on a phone or a tablet. So people are
I
reading
know,
less and less. With definitely with the auto books now, it's getting less
and
and
the reason why
less
they're reading
and
less and
less.
less. The reason why they're reading less and less is called poor educational system, called the dumbing down of the American society.
Not only that, bro. Is what could? Let me ask you a question. If you're driving, would you prefer to listen to it or reading it when on a toilet? I tell you right now, most people
If I'm,
will
I'll get
prefer
an
listening to
audio.
it.
Here's the exception. If it's narrated by the writer, then I prefer the
Mm-hmm.
audiobook. By the writer,
Bingo.
not just narrated by. Yeah, I don't care if you get James Earl Jones to narrate it, where God rest his soul. It's not the same thing. But I think when the author narrates the book, I think they bring something into the audio that you cannot necessarily get from the book.
Very true.
So that's what
Because
I'm saying.
the
If it's
author
if
who
it's
wrote it,
narrated by the writer, by the author, then I'm good. Then I'm good with it.
he had a point
Some
because the
books
reason
at
why when it
Amazon.
comes to, let me put it this, when it comes to the author of the book doing the audio, he knew what he put in that book, so he will give the emotional flair how it's supposed to feel and sound when you're listening to it. So it lock you in, and I get that. Like Cat that you read from Kindle on the Amazon. Now, if I'm listening to an audiobook when I'm driving or going to trip, that would be great. But sometimes when you have to change, you have like a vacation, you want to stay somewhere like under the tree, enjoy the breeze, and just open a book and let your mind go in deep. I don't think people understand reading does a lot to your brain. It's one of the
It is.
key
I'm not
things
arguing
that
that.
people from Alzheimer. I'll be honest. The more you read, the more your brain act. The more your brain acted, it's hard for you to get Alzheimer. 'Cause your brain's like you're building your brain muscle. People don't like
Don't
to
yeah.
read so much. You know what?
But
They're dumbed
it's
down as
it's
hell.
interesting you say that. But it's interesting how you say that because it is like exercise. Like I admit myself, I do get out of reading for periods of time, but a lot of it is because oftentimes I have a hard time quieting my brain to focus on the reading because I'm thinking about a million different things as I'm trying. So again, what I've used, like even I use it now. If it's something that I really have to focus and concentrate on, I have a lot of different noises. So brown noise, white noise, airplane, passenger jet noise, something that helps to drown this out. So some of the noises I'll use to help me get to sleep, because again, if you go to bed and if your mind is racing a million miles an hour, then it's hard to fall asleep. So again, I'll put that white noise or
The life of a
brown
tech.
noise, black noise. I'll put it on in order because it helps calm me here. Because it's like anything else. I remember even when I was a kid, it's like when you get in a car, right? If you're in the back seat, the car, that's some of the best sleep you'll ever get. You know what I mean? And that's why I always just tell my wife all the time, I was like, we're driving somewhere, you got to make sure you stay awake. Because especially if we're in like PA, we're on these roads that got, I need to, this is before we even had GPS. It's like, you better stay awake, keep talking the whole time while I'm driving to help keep both of us awake. We're both in trouble. So, but the car,
And that's the
that car
thing.
will knock you out, man. Or the airplane or whatever. It's just like, or the
People don't understand it
fan, like
because
even if in your room, you turn a fan on in your room, it's the same thing. We would in college, we would play the fan like as loud, the loudest setting on the fan, and it just helped us go to sleep. It just did. So I have to do things like that if I
this is
know I have to get into a subject that I really want to get into. I have to have that sound on because this mind is talking about
It doesn't
what the
stop. I
it
have a
doesn't stop.
similar. I have a similar issue. Like one, I don't have time, and two, it's trying to focus when I'm reading. It's just such hard because, like the dog needs me, my mother needs me. 100 things going on. Like work's calling me. This is going on. Like that's why I don't bother reading anymore. Like when I was driving
and here's the
45
thing.
minutes, yeah, I had an audiobook. Go ahead, David.
And here's the thing. With the benefit because when you're a nerd and you into reading so much growing up, and you got so much in your mind. Even at the tech, I try to pace myself on a lot of things. Now, the only time we can actually focus on reading if you're reading to get another certification, another question to make more
Yeah.
money.
Study.
Then somehow
That's
your
not
brain
now. So
adjusts itself.
do you think study is the same as reading? Because to me, study is not reading. Like
No, it's not.
reading for pleasure or reading, for information. But studying,
It,
that's a totally
it's a
different thing.
different thing, and that's the thing. I'm glad you noticed that because I've been trying to tell people sometimes you don't understand what the mind will do to you. When you want to study for something and you're in that field, your mind have a way of adjusting itself to study to lock down to add more skill set. But we want to read to enjoy. It's like you have to find the right scene. I was telling myself if I was able to retire early and make a huge lot of money, I'm not gonna build no mansion. I'm gonna build me a simple house, but I need to have a reading room for myself to have the type of flair, look, and feel. Whereby, like you say, have a certain weight level that block out there will make my mind go way back and just sit down and enjoy myself. All I need a nice cup of tea or coffee of my particular flavor that I like. Sip and enjoy my reading. Audio Bible. No,
Um,
I'm sorry. That's the Bible thing. I don't know why, but if I'm reading the Bible, maybe it's me. I cannot be bothered by nobody. You cannot tap you on my shoulder, can be calling my name. I could be like in the window when I can read my Bible and when I engage on it, I get locked in. Cause I'm studying, but I'm studying to go to another level. You're talking to a guy who will be reading the Bible since the age of 7. And I can call people out on bullshit when no one quote the scripture. I'm like, show me the scripture. This was the scripture. I'll read before, I'll read it after, I'll read anything until you got it out of content. This was exactly what it means. Some people don't know how. I got people who teach me how to read the Bible at a very young age, and I caught on to it. So when it comes to reading the Bible, it's not I'm reading for. It's like I'm actually studying. Studying is different from reading. When you want to read for pleasure, you have to have the right environment to keep you locked in and not get distracted or someone pulling you left or right. It's kind of hard.
and that's my issue, David, because I've been trying to sit down and read my Bible for over a year now. But again, I don't have the time. I don't even have 5 minutes,
Mhm.
and that's my issue. And it's not anybody's fault but mine. But when you have 100 things going on at
No,
once,
Yeah, the
and you're
busyness of life. Yeah, reading is you
gets the
have to
back burner fast.
you have to fight. You have to fight for the time. But again, even if you give yourself the time, can you put your mind? Can you focus? Like I said, same thing. If I got to read the Bible, I got in the background, I got the white noise on, or the airline. I got the call dings. It's like as if I'm on an airliner. Call dings. I got the this. It's so it just helps me focus. But yeah, it's hard.
and
It's like going
remember
to
that I
bed
said
is loud.
at the window. Remember that I said at the window. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. When I'm sitting at the window, all the street noise, everything, it block out anything that will distract me. Look, I'm right next to the window. I'm sitting on the window side, just holding my Bible in broad daylight, and I'm zoned in because just like you said, the street noise, the car noise, it does some way. It did block out everything, and it feel like it's dead quiet, but it's not. That's the thing. When you have a very active mind, I'm thinking
Mhm.
about more than 1,000 things, trying to plan things. I'm figuring out how I'm gonna fix this issue. How I'm gonna fix this issue. I'm gonna find this solution. I'm gonna find that solution. I hate to say that when you're in our field and your brain is rushing, you're looking for multiple solutions. So when do come, you just want to knock it out and keep it moving. When you're solution
Yeah,
based,
but it's not it. But
ladies and gentlemen,
but it goes. Yeah,
I don't tell you it go beyond that, but it's that when your mind is trained
you're
that
right.
way, it's
You're
running.
right.
It's
But I
constantly
think it
running.
goes even deeper for us though, because we're the dudes. We'll think of stuff that nobody ever thought of. Like
Bingo.
it could be like a song, right? You hear on the radio, and you just start thinking about that song, and then you start thinking to yourself, you know what? That's a stupid song. Because what does it mean when they say this or that or whatever? What that doesn't. It's like, and like my wife will look at me like, "What's the matter with you?" Right?
Like, what's the matter with you? It's like, it's a song, but you're going into like this, how much analysis and thought process that you get into. I'm just trying to enjoy the song, and you made a social commentary out of it. But it's like, but if she truly loved them, then why she leave? Or why did he leave? Like and I'm telling you, the song Jennifer Holiday's "And I'm Telling You I'm Not Going" was like, well, if it's all that, then why is he leaving you? Clearly, there's something wrong with you. There's clearly something wrong with you if you're telling this man, and I'm telling you I'm not going, you're the best man I ever had. Why is he leaving? So something is wrong with you. You are psychotic or something. My wife is like, where do you get this stuff from? What's going on? So I'm saying, so you talk about active mind for the stuff that we got to do for our jobs and careers and stuff like that. We just be thinking about stuff like the world doesn't make sense to us.
I do the same exact thing.
The world doesn't make sense to us, and we're trying to make sense of it, right?
Bingo. You hit on the nail.
Like the stories, the three little pigs. It was like the three little pigs, right? Why they had to go and get, what was it? They went to get some firewood or something like that. What was it?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, but I'm like, well, why wouldn't it have been easier for the three little pigs if they went and did this instead or something? I mean, it's so stupid. Why? It's we just get into our mind. It comes at any time, right? It's like, if I'm thinking about it, it's like, I shocked myself. Why am I even thinking about it like that? But there have been times where I broke down a song, and I'm arguing with my wife for like 2 hours over why this song is ridiculous or whatever. And it could be one of the most popular songs ever. Like, oh my gosh, when it comes on radio, everyone's singing it. I'm like, no, but that's just a dumb song. I just don't understand it, And she's like, I'm done with you. I don't want to hear. Don't be in a room with me when the song's. I'm not even gonna tell you when it's on. I'm gonna put my headphones on. I don't want to hear your commentary. I don't want to hear nothing about in fact, it just happened recently. We were listening to TLC, baby, baby. I got so much love in me or whatever. It's like, and the guy was like, they said, I can have anyone I want to anytime I choose to. And I'm like, then go on then. Right? I just say, you can have any guy you want to anytime, place. All right, go. Because what man wants to hear? Nobody wants to hear in their face when somebody's saying to them, well, I can have anybody I want. I'm like, some days they're going to test you. They're going to say, all right, go ahead then. Get on it.
With the minute you hit it on the nail, I am the same exact way, and even worse. I'm sorry.
And my wife, again, she looks at me. We're in the car. All this stuff happens in the car.
Of course, in the car. Why would it happen anywhere else?
Nah, man, we could be listening in the house or whatever. But I'm just saying, we're driving somewhere. Usually it's some long road trip or something. We're going somewhere, right? Driving down 95 or something like that. And we usually have a song playlist on or something like that. Or we're just talking. And then I'll be like, and we'll just it's like my wife's like, oh man, he's going there again. Can't I just enjoy the song? I just want to be in my happy place or whatever. But so I know how to ruin a song like real quick. So
I can see that.
So I'm just saying, but just getting back to the reading thing or whatever, it's just saying it's hard because I'll be into stuff whatever. And the craziest thing will come in my mind that I didn't
punch in your face by now. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I promise I will not bring this up on our road trip to Comic-Con. I promise.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
I'll keep my mouth shut the whole trip.
I have a anti-Paul. Listen, Paul, my man, my brother, my friend. I have an anti-Paul solution to that. You want to know what it is?
What's that?
AirPods Pro 2.
There you go.
I got backup. I have a backup. Earplugs.
What is that?
You know, there's a third thing. I'll punch you in the fucking dick.
Well, just don't do it while I'm driving. Just don't do it while I'm driving. That could be hazardous to you. But
I will jump out the fucking window. Like, you see me at 5 o'clock news. Like, Woohoo!
Yeah,
Yo, what was it?
we definitely
Wait, what was that?
I know could tell you.
Teen
Yeah,
Wolf. Teen Wolf.
I'm
I got top of the roof and surf.
I'm sorry. Me and Mr. Bennett have the same exact issue.
yeah.
I will listen
Yeah,
to this.
I
I'll
watch
listen to the
sometimes
song my kid. No, it is. It is. I listen to the song my kid play out in the living room, and I'm thinking about a bunch of stuff, and the song hit my head. I'm like, why do you kids listen to garbage? What the hell is it
see, I
about?
don't do I don't do that because I don't say that because again, you automatically shut them off. If you want to mess
I
up
know I
your
did.
kids, you have to break down the scenario. So don't lead with
Oh,
it. They'll get the point.
I went even further than that.
You ask these leading questions. That's how you get them. But you never
Oh, I
attack
went
their
worse.
music because they get defensive.
No,
But you just
no,
you
they
just
tried. They tried. No, trust me, Mr. Bennett. When I say I dissect like a surgeon, I, before I did that, I was like, okay, what's it all about? Okay, what's the lyric? I listened to the lyric over and over. Okay, that don't make any sense. What do you mean?
see. I don't
Okay, bro,
say
I
that.
say you
I
don't
don't
listen
say.
to
See
garbage.
again.
No, but I
I
say you
don't
don't listen
say
to
that.
garbage. I say
See,
hold
don't.
up. But here it is. But here it is. I say you mad that I tell you got to listen to garbage. But let me ask you a question. When you're doing all this thing, are you saying you got diarrhea? When you're
But
doing
it
this,
doesn't matter.
you,
But see, but you
no.
lost them
But the
already.
thing is,
But David, you
I know,
lost them already.
I know, I lost them, but I was going even further and further and further
But it's
to the
fun.
point
But
whereby
it's much
I
more
watched.
fun when
No,
you
but
mess them
here's a
up.
joke. But here's a joke. I got to look at them. I had them look at each other. Very funny. My son tried to catch on. He said, "No, that is right. This song whack." So he don't try to dance
Right.
to the song no more. But his sister look at it. What you telling me? No, that making some sense. It don't make no. I have my son brain
I like
messed up. I got
see
him
me.
thinking that way.
No, but see, I like just setting up the trap and having them fall in it. But again, if you lead with the this doesn't make any sense, this is garbage, they're gonna defend. It's like anything else. A person will defend even if they're wrong. They're
and
gonna defend
and
because again,
my
their
daughter does
pride
that
is
several
on the
times.
line.
I know my daughter did it several times. I say, "Want to play chess with me?" I say, "Go ahead. Let's talk about the lyrics." And every time I keep shutting down one by one, do what my son is doing on the side. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm much more
I want
subtle.
you.
I'm much more so.
My s-
I'm like the Columbo approach. You ever watch Columbo growing up?
oh,
Columbo.
Colombo
Columbo,
and
Columbo, he's about to walk off, right? Then he comes back in the room. He's like, actually, I just had a question. I just need to know this. Like, oh, really? Oh, thank you very much. And by the
I
way,
watched
I just had
Columbo and
another.
Maddox. And
Y-
Maddox. Was it Maddox? That lawyer, the old funny lawyer, but he always find a way to see the thing what it
Exactly,
is.
Matlock. Yeah,
Matlock,
yeah,
Matlock, with Matlock.
yeah.
I
Again,
grew up on
they
that
had
one.
a way
So
of getting under your skin, but it's kind of like the stuff. But they're not coming at you like that. It's just like they
no,
get
I
in
took
you, and
those
then you be
two.
like, oh snap, what I just
I
said.
get those two, and I did my own approach. What I did is whereby you're not gonna believe this. Every now and then, they look for something to go at each other. And let's say, for example, my daughter said something that was actually correct. And I said, no, I said, no, she told the truth. She's correct on that point. And I break it down. And when I break it down, she's like, mm-hmm. See, told you. See, that is right. Same thing happened. I do it to my son. My son called out for something, and said, no, I was like, no, you're telling the truth. And I tried to break it. I do it so much to the point whereby I'm playing dangerous mind game on both of them. To this day, my son don't even do the dance around me. I'll look at him like this and hear the song. I'm watching. I'm like, I don't dance to that song. And when she trying to dance, you see, you got diarrhea now? You want to poop? He took my word and turned out hers. I say, first of all, we had dancing back in the 80s, the 90s, and the 70s, and the 50s and the 60s. What you got to do is not dancing. It's like you're trying to give us the signal either you got diarrhea. Cause I told you, you're copying from the Pepto Bismol commercial. And I show
Yeah,
it. Even though it looked the same, but I said, all you do is take the idea and you trying to hide it. Like, you're doing this thing like you got diarrhea. You're doing it around your body, meaning you about to poop or you about to leak in your pants. You do, and every time I do that, their friend came over. and then I do the same thing. And my daughter tried to say, "Oh, don't do it for my dad, because you tell you have diarrhea." And now it already got stuck in her head.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally messed
So
him up.
like,
Don't look at me, Ghost.
yeah,
Don't
but
look, I'm not a bad guy, Ghost. I'm not a bad guy, Ghost. I see the look on your face. You're like, you're a devil. I'm not a devil.
No, actually, because I agree with you. That's the fucked up part. I've done worse things than that.
mhm.
I have done worse things to my employees and to people that I was with. So, for example, like, do you remember the whole "I like big butts, I cannot lie" song?
Yeah. Baby got
Oh
back. Yeah.
Lord. Oh
I
boy.
did. The kid I like it. I don't think it's a bad song still. But when they try
No,
to
it wasn't a
do it
bad
now
song.
these days, when kids are trying to do it now, and I'm looking, I'm like, you have no fucking idea what you're doing, dude. Or Soldier Boy. Like when I looked at one of my chefs, he was like in his 60s. He's listening to all this ghetto rap. I'm like, dude. I'm like, let me get your cane out of the closet or we'll put you in a psycho ward because this is way above your time and you probably have no idea what the fuck are these guys saying.
No.
Mhm.
No, what did they
I do
say?
have a side comment that
Uh,
came in. So I was asked to mention about Kingsman when they belly up tonight. So by AKA Eric has asked me. I mentioned that on air.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
again, so I'll summarize for him again. One, I've never seen a Kingsman movie, and I wasn't inspired to because it looked like a stylized, almost a parody of the traditional British spy franchise. So that's why I never had an interest in it. I watched some retrospectives on it, and even to this day now I might be motivated to watch the first one now. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is, what was the rant before you got on, David, is how is it that we have 3 to 4, all of us have 3 or 4 streaming services between us, and it's not available on the streaming service platform that we're looking for
We're
without
gonna
paying
do a
extra
show
money
on
for it.
that.
So,
I'm trying to get. Uh, I got to time this out with King and Smith. I really want them on this channel.
mhm.
For that
And
because
I want
to
Jenna
see
Mike on
them
this one too,
argue,
because
bro, you're gonna
I
be
want
on.
Jenna
Don't worry,
Mike
but
because
seeing no, David, seeing CQ and King argue on air is the funniest thing in the world. I'm probably gonna get 100 subscribers at one night. I'm not even joking with you. That's how funny it is. But on a serious note, I
no, because
seen 2.5 movies. Hang on. Don't get ahead of me. 2.5 movies. Reason I say 2.5 movies because the third one I fell asleep to. The first one wasn't bad. Sorry, Eric. I gotta tell you the truth. That's how I felt. The second one it was a decent movie. It wasn't bad, but wasn't that I would go buy? No, I would not pay money on this. If it's on a streaming service for free or like on a streaming service I already paid for, yeah, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna deny. But I'm gonna say, oh my god, I gotta watch it. No. The sad part is they do have some really talented actors in the movies. That is the sad part. To me, I think they were trying to do James Bond on crack cocaine comedy style. And
oh
they
wow,
try to do it like
wow.
UK because it's still in the UK, but MI6 where it was founded. Let's be honest, it's
Mhm.
not a bad. That the idea wasn't bad. Execution was horrible. That's what it came down to, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think people said fuck you, 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 fuck you. Oh, hang on, fuck you one more time. I think that's where it happened. That's why I actually never checked. I'm actually gonna check right now the ratings on the what's it called the
Is that
How
Rotten
many
Tomatoes? Or?
tomatoes?
yeah, stuff like that. I'm gonna check it right now. Hang on one second. But funny stuff. It's not, so I know it's a little off topic, but when you guys look at Kingsman, please make sure you don't mix up Kingsman and beer oil versus the movie. It is a such thing as a beer oil out there. Kingsman is really good
Right.
oil.
Right.
I seen people do that. That's why I'm actually gonna bring that up. So on Rotten Tomatoes, what is the rating inside this fucking thing? Uh, I guess it's supposed to be a fourth one works from now.
I don't know because it seems like each movie is gotten worse than the last one. So I don't know
But
if
believe it or not, the first one wasn't rated bad. It's 4.5 out of 5.
Mhm.
75% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.7 on IBM. So that's not bad ratings, to be
Right now,
honest.
what's the second one?
I'm going to do that next.
Oh, I only watched two of it. The second one got me looking at it like,
So it went down straight up. So 4.1, 50% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.7 IBM out of 10, and 3.5. I mean,
So
3 out
again,
of 5.
let's say lesser movie.
Yeah, exactly. So let's
Right.
do the third one now because I'm curious on the third one actually now. Because that's the one that dropped him. This one I agree 100% because I wasn't. Put it this way: if a movie put me asleep, it means it's not that good. 3.4. Rotten Tomatoes 41%. IBM 6.3, and 2 out of 3 out of commas. So yes, ratings have gone down. I'm not gonna deny that. Is it a good movie? That's accepted. I think the first two maybe had a good standing.
Mhm.
Is it? Could it be a good franchise one day? It still has potential, I think. But we have to keep in mind, people
No,
think James
here's the
Bond,
problem.
Mission Impossible. Hang on one second. You're gonna have the floor 1 second. People think, oh, these other franchise. And they think this is not the franchise. This is a comedy version. So stop thinking James Bond and laugh a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, David. I'm sorry I cut you off.
By the way, it's fine because just like Mr. Ben was saying, the first one was okay. You set a precedent. Like I tell you, I feel like you're passing the torch from the father to the son. The second movie is more like the son kind of step up, but will look kind of like a little overbearing. I did not watch the third one because the second one did not motivate me to watch the third one.
Mm-hmm.
For it to be a better franchise, you might have to redo it all over again. But this time you stick with the book. Because remember like we
Isn't a
said
book out
earlier.
of Kingsman? Is it a book out of this
Yes.
series?
Yeah, it was a graphic novel series. That's how it started.
I didn't know that, to
Because
be honest
and
with
it
you.
was written during the days of the Daniel Craig James Bond series. And they said like one of the motivations why they wanted to do the book was because even with the Casino Royale, that was like the
Hmm.
motivation. Royale basically started with him just getting his MI6 designation at the beginning of the movie. But what they were
Hmm.
disappointed was that they didn't cover his academy days. And so they wanted to kind of do a sort of James Bond type of film that talks about the training, the academy, how do you get through? Like they would love to see, now, and I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind seeing that kind of film if they ever want to do another James Bond reboot. But they went all the way back. So like after Skyfall, but seeing him in the Navy and coming up through the ranks, how he got drafted by MI6, that might be an interesting film, if not a series. If they wanted to do like a streaming service series, a Netflix series with that, I'd be interested in that myself because again, I think James Bond has always been a piece of them. With the exception of the last movies like Spectre and Skyfall or whatnot, again, you always got like a little bit of what his life was, but you never kind of got this full picture of what he of what who he who he was and the background, what he had to endure, what he had to go through to be that cold, to be this sort of cold, ruthless type of guy that he ultimately became to be an MI6 agent. So something that gets into that, I wouldn't mind. But from what I understand, that was certainly the reason for the writing of the graphic novel, and apparently the first movie gives you some insight in terms of how someone comes into this organization and how they got trained and up through the ranks and how they got into the actual field. So I think that was what they were trying to do. But if somebody wanted to go back and do a James Bond, a legit one, I would take a listen to that. I would take a watch of that.
Yeah. I think if they do like you said, maybe a James Bond Junior kind of thing when he's in a not Junior. That's a bad idea actually because they have a series on that. But like a James Bond young blood kind of thing
Mhm.
when he was be a perfect. I think it'd be a great fucking movie. Think about it, dude. Like we never know how his precursor is. Let's be
Well,
honest.
the only thing with that is I don't know how much action would be in it. I mean, certainly that's what I'm thinking. It might be better as like a series, like a Netflix series or something like that, rather than a film. Because again, I
I have
think
a great idea.
you
I
would
have a
have to have
great
the
idea.
action and stuff, and I don't know how much of that
Yeah.
you would get in if you went all the way back like that.
Great idea. Amazon, listen to me very carefully. Look me in the eye, Amazon. Mr. Bayman, earthquake, and Ghost of Sparta. would like to offer you a partners deal to Precursor of James Bond, a series, a 10 episode. First season will be good. Then we will talk, royalty rights and everything like that. Paul will take 5%. Earthquake will take 3. I'll take 50. So I think that's a fair deal.
You mean
With an
Black
agent like
David,
you,
aka
with
Bear
an,
Paul?
with an agent,
Oh,
with an
fuck off over
agent
there.
like you,
All right.
gosh.
Let me do a schedule update really fast, and then let's get the fuck out of here. All right, guys. For the next 2 weeks, tomorrow we're talking about cigarettes on the gray area. I think it's a serious topic to talk about because
Yes,
I'm
right.
a recovering cigarette guy, and yes, I am clean again. So I'm staying clean this time. So on Thursday we are talking about, and this is more for you, Paul, because I know we kind of talked about it because your mother and everything. So the next 2 episodes are really dedicated to your mother's memory. Is your head on right? And next Saturday will be no show, guys. We are at New York Comic Con. Please come say hi to us. I have to say this one more time. I'm gonna pop my own head off. You better say hi to us. He wants to sign autographs. So Mr. President is not charging. He's free. Come on, sign autographs. Also, on top of that, we have on the 20. I'm sorry. Did we agree on what we're going to do next Sunday yet, or we're going to talk about it
Next
later?
Sunday, we could certainly go with. Well, I know you sent that schedule out, so we can either go with the schedule, or if you want to talk about reading, I think that'd be a nice topic.
We have 2 choices. We can talk about wrestling or reading. You pick one.
Let's do reading.
Okay, next week we'll be talking about reading on the gray area. And on the 24th, we're going to be talking, again, this is dedicated to Paul's mother, will be mental health medication. Again, something we need to talk about. And on the 26th, this one, of course it's coming. We're going to be at Comic-Con. We got to do a relapse of the show. Come on. David,
Yeah.
you better come to the show because I need somebody to ask a lot of questions about Comic-Con. And
I'll
on
ask a ton of it.
31st. I can't believe I'm doing this show, but you guys say typical. 31st, we're doing why do men want to use condoms? Yep, I'm going there. The holy thoughts? We got 2 weeks to think about it.
That.
On the 2nd, He-Man versus Lion-O, the battle of the 80s icons.
Okay.
Oh,
All right,
no.
that'll work.
Oh,
Yes.
no. I'm not going back
That'll
to
work.
elementary school. fact
Before we
again.
go, I got a question on both of you guys. First of all, I got one question to you, Paul. Did you finish the Vince McMahon series?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So
I'm watching it tonight.
good. Going to this. I'm sorry, guys.
For some reason, my anime site not allowing me to watch my anime, so I'm going to watch the Victor Man documentary and see what bullshit did that man do.
So I
got
have
him
it scheduled for the 20th.
Exile
Hang on a second.
or okay.
Hang on. Don't get ahead of us. The 23rd is technically scheduled to show. I can reschedule for sooner time because it's 31st in our memories. Or do you want what? It's up to you guys. You
Well,
tell me
yeah,
what
it
you guys
depends. Well, it's really, like I said, I'm done with it. So, however long it takes you guys to catch up, David says he's going to watch it tonight, or through the rest of the
I'm
weekend.
done with it. I finished it yesterday.
Okay, then
So
we
David,
can do it
when
as early as we could do it as early as the 26th.
I'll
then, I
been
guess.
watching it all the way tonight.
what's the 26th? No, 26th.
I got the plate of-
relapse.
Okay, so that would be the first weekend in November.
You know what? I can switch the He-Man for Comic-Con and stuff like that. Vince McMahon, I mean.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. That's easy to come back to. I'm not worried about it. That gives you 2 weeks, David, to finish that shit up. That should be more than enough time. All right. Second question. for both
I've
of
been
you guys.
watching it
I don't
all
know
in
if
one
you've seen the
night.
announcements. Yep. Hang on.
I
David
can't
was
do
ahead
that.
of
I
me.
don't see how guys do that. I can't.
I can't do that either. I'm too old for that shit now.
Man.
2
Two maybe. I could do 2 in a night, but then
Yeah. I did 3. I done 3, not with Vince, but with other documentaries. Got me
right.
So, Voltron, they're making a movie.
Live action. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I
Let's get
don't know.
opinions before we get out of here. I want your opinion. I'm doing a show on it on the first.
I got a question about it.
11th.
Yeah, I don't know. They tried to do a live action Power Rangers movie. I don't think it went very far.
Power Rangers is live action, dude.
No, but I thought they did like they came out with like a full movie, right? Like a full Hollywood type of movie on Power Rangers. And I don't think it did too
three
well.
movies actually. The first one wasn't bad. The CGI was horrible. That's the only reason why it sunk.
Right.
That. Where's the fourth one, dickhead? It's only 3 Power Rangers. I'm a Power Ranger freak. I know my shit. The second was Shifting Turbo, and the reboot was coming. They're making a 4th one now. They're working on a script because Netflix owns the rights now to Power Rangers, and they're actually put the end of the series, the original timeline, and they're going to reboot the whole thing from scratch. So with Zordon coming back and everything, they said it's going to be with Dinozords again, with Zordon and Alpha 5. I'm still holding my breath.
What did the chanted it will be done by the Japanese, not American this time?
No Japanese. They're not using any Japanese material this time. Nothing. They're going scratch. And Netflix is one of the few companies I would say they have a good chance of surviving.
Now, are they doing this? What version of Voltron are they trying to do here? They're trying to do the Lion series
yes,
or
the Lion.
the Lions?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely I do not.
I don't know. Because some stuff that's in animation does not translate well to live action. It just doesn't. It's almost like when it's cartoon like that, it's almost like your mind is like a suspension of reality. But the more you try to make, it's like the Transformers series. It's like they made it just got too extra. Like it hurt your eyes to see all that stuff, just shifting and things of that nature. But
it's funny you said that because on the day after my birthday, 11/30.
When is your birthday?
29th, Black Friday.
November 29th?
Yeah, it's on Black Friday. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to be on the show or am I going to go out have a few drinks or I'm going to do nothing to stay home. I'm not sure yet. I'm working that day. So it doesn't make a difference to me. But on the 30th, we are actually doing a show on Transformers. That's for David. I told you I'm going to do it. Don't you even dare yawn on me, you little fucker. He's been avoiding this conversation for a while. So it's time for him to be a big boy and put his panties on.
Look, I'm pissed off with the movie series. That's why.
And you can say what you want that day. So accept that, guys. Mr. President, final words.
I'm good. I'm good. So again, Kingsman. Like I said, if it appears on Netflix or one of the channels again, I will watch the first one just to say that I've seen it. But again, not a lot of interest in the series. But they did get me thinking about again a James Bond, retro or going back. That could be very interesting.
Yeah. David, anything else before we go?
The Kingsman. Well, it's like a parody. First movie was alright. Second movie, then I watched the third one. If you want to fix that franchise, just stick with the book. Stop doing these dumb Hollywood bullshit. Other than that, I'm looking forward to have the conversation about the Transformers so I can go bonker and tell how I actually feel.
I'm also
with
doing
Michael Bay. For Michael Bay screwing up the franchise that we grew up and loved.
Oh, nice.
Hello. And my birthday already passed. My birthday was September 19.
Yep.
So I'm only 20. I'm already 46 already. Yeah.
86?
I'm 46. My birthday was last month.
You said 86.
I know it was, dude.
I know what you said.
I know.
give you a shout
I know,
out
but
channel.
here's the thing.
Don't you give me that.
He's on point because, no matter he's on point because I told people before, when I'm 26, I feel like I'm 40 or 56 because I grew up fast. And just like Mr. Bennett, I analyze things too much.
All right.
If something don't make no goddamn sense, I'm going to look at it like, what the hell?
All right. Guys, as always, I am Ghost of Sparta. He is Earthquake, a.k.a. Black David.
No. I am Black David, a.k.a. Bear Paw. The Earthquake is BMU.
He's Mr. President. As always, this was
can't even do 10 push-ups.
XQ Network. Shut the fuck up. This is the XQ Network. As always, please stay safe, stay fresh, and